Go gadget copter.
Well, okay. So
Never.
here we are. Did we even put a show announcement out? Did
Yes, I
we?
did about like
Did you?
30 minutes ago or something. Maybe it was an hour ago. Our
Okay, okay,
typical
okay.
amateur deal.
Well, I asked because I actually, in fact, I did have somebody message me and say, "Are y'all going to do a show tonight or not?" And I get it. I mean, we have been unstable lately, so it's a fair question to ask.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. I said, "Yeah, actually, we are." So I figured maybe you didn't put a show announcement out.
No, I did, but I'd like to remind everybody, or take this opportunity to remind everybody, which I try to do every show since Facebook started this. But Facebook deletes the live shows after 30 days or around at the 30-day mark or whatever, which is crazy. Which means like all of our old past shows are gone except the last month. But if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, all the shows, including all the past shows, are on YouTube. And I might upload select shows to the Facebook page again as, non-live videos. I don't know. Anyway, it's a pain in the rear end. With all that said, we have been a little haphazard in our scheduling in the last month.
Been a lot going on. Most of that's been my fault. I have had a lot of irons in the fire, no doubt about it. And then you, of course, I mean, look, we're just regular people like all of y'all, and you had a transmission go out. I
Yes, I
mean,
did. I'm on transmission number 3 in the GMC, although I'll give a nice little plug so far for ATR transmissions on North Market. So far, it is running flawlessly and better. I would argue it shifts better than it did brand new. It's the 6L80 transmission. I'm no mechanic, but apparently this has been the bane of Chevrolet and GMC's existence since they came out with this transmission. I'll just leave it at that. But my truck didn't leave me stranded. It did get me back to the house, barely.
yeah, yeah, I heard that. I heard that. So, good show tonight. Varying topics, and we're going to have a guest. And all of y'all that have just joined in the show, hey, you'd do us a big favor if you would just take the moment and click share down there in the bottom right corner on your. And apparently, my dogs have decided to join the show tonight, so I'm
Hey,
going to mute and you finish from there.
that's okay. So yeah, like we were talking about, our schedule's been a little hectic. Duke and I have both had things going on, and and plus with the holidays, blah blah blah. Anyway, the nice thing is it's our show. We can set our schedule as we want. We do apologize for the folks that love to tune in on Tuesday night, and then you don't get to hear us pontificate behind the microphones. But we'll try to be a little more stable maybe after the first of the year. Okay, Mr. Lowry, have you got your animals under control, or shall they join us with a microphone?
Well, they probably will try to join us again, and I'll just have to kind of step away or hit mute or something of that nature. But anyway, uh, good show tonight, and I think it's going to be informative. We're going to cover a lot of wide-ranging topics, and we're going to go from. I mean, I have a couple of theories about some things going on in our community, and I, I think I'm high achieving here. I really do. And while the educated folks think, yeah, well, I might be reaching above my pay grade, and that's fine. They're probably right. I, I'm not going to argue with them that I am,
Well,
but
it's
I
it's
got a
been a
theory.
it's been a while since I've had to have a physics discussion, but hey, I'm game for it, and I'll give my opinion on that whole situation. So apparently, this is going to be Bossier Watch, the science class tonight at some point, anyway. Oh, and
Yeah.
not just that. Did you know that I have become a music producer?
Allegedly, I've been hearing some things about you and, music production and all that. So, yeah, by all means, I want to see you pull the mic up to your lips and I want to hear you belt one out. Come on.
Oh, no, 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 no. I might have a radio voice, but it is not meant for singing. trust me. I, I have been in the, let me rephrase here. I have been in the music video production business. So after we come out of the break, I've got two things I'm going to show. One, a little promotion and shameless plug for the high school bass trail. We're about to kick off our 2026 season. But here's an interesting thing. We now have an anthem. Did you know that?
An anthem. I like that.
An anthem.
Well, David Crockett already is tuning us up in the comments. He says you'll have Sadow to ask your FOS status. For the kids in the audience, I mean, he's using military terminology there. So, I mean, I'm sure most of y'all don't know what he's saying, but we'll leave it for you to get a guess. But
yeah,
anyway.
So folks, as usual, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. We've got some topics we want to talk about. We are going to have Jeff Sadow on around 7:30ish, and we're going to discuss, among other things, the police jury. But again, as usual, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. Been a sort of slow week, but there's a few things that we kind of need to talk about. And again, Duke wants to talk physics. I'm all up for that.
Yeah, I think it's an important thing for folks in the community to watch. I mean, it pertains to the data centers and what's going on around our part of the world. And I don't know. I think a lot of people are probably going to buy into what my theory is. A lot of people are going to say, you know what? What the heck are you smoking right here before Christmas, Duke? You done started way too early. And they're probably right. But you know what? Hey, I can live with it.
Yeah, it won't be the first time we've been called choice words and adjectives, but it's the way it goes. All right, so how about I go ahead and hit the break? We'll do the typical like and share, go make you a stiff drink, go pop some popcorn, whatever, 2.5, 3 minutes. When we come back out of the break, I'm going to do a shameless plug for the high school bass trail, and we're going to get into this NDA anthem. How about that, Mr. Lowrie?
All right, let's do it. Help a brother out. Share the show. Let's get some folks in here. Let's educate them.
If folks knew a lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked.
You know, there's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
And I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys.
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
Aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. Oh, folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to border. It's actually going to Mexico, the buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS. We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks. Through conscious, shocking actions, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr. In theory, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This live broadcast is brought to you by The Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. And we are back one more time. Hey, I got a question for you. Now, and this is a political question. So,
Okay.
this whole Landry being appointed an envoy or whatever to Greenland, which I honestly thought it was like the Onion. I thought it was a joke when I first saw it, but oh no, it's real. So, what's your opinion on the dual office holding? And the reason I ask is because I just came across Jamie Marie Pope's post on her Facebook page about that. What is your opinion on that, Mr. Lowry? Do you have one?
Well, well, I don't think it's dual office holding. I mean, the governor is a governor of a state in the United States, and as long as he's not being paid, I mean, he can go and solicit uh, things on behalf of the United States at the direction of the president to try to help the United States. I mean, I don't get what the big deal is. I mean, presidents have always done that. They've always sent political figures, senators, I mean, congressmen around the world to do things. And I mean, look, if Trump called tomorrow and wanted me to go down to Bossier City Hall and say, Chris Smith, you need to let everybody in Bossier have chickens. You know what? I'd go do it.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't quite prepared to go down the chicken road, but I guess we can. No, you're absolutely right. Look, as crazy as I
But
thought that
look,
was, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, look, I share my screen and let's hear what Landry had to say himself. He was on Fox News today,
Uh-oh,
and
let's see.
he was addressing it.
Oh no, we don't have any sound. Curses, Batman. Well, give
No
us the
sound.
rundown. No sound. No audio from you.
Well, I mean, look, Landry was talking about. I mean, and look, we're fixing to you done jumped the cat here. We're fixing to jump straight off into fusion and my theory.
Uh-oh.
But Landry was just saying that Trump's opinion was that the Monroe Doctrine was alive and well, and that hey, we need to address this thing in Greenland, and talking about how China and Russia and everybody's going to exploit the minerals and everything that there is in Greenland, and that if we don't, go after it first, they're going to. And I, that aligns a lot with the theory that I have.
All right, and we'll get to that theory. Let's not jump the shark too much. So the only thing that struck me as odd, and I don't think it violates the Louisiana's dual office holding statutes or the Louisiana Constitution or anything like that, because he's not getting paid. It's a volunteer deal. But it just struck me as odd that he appointed Landry, and not that I think Landry is not capable of doing it. It just was kind of, to me, a random thing that he picked Jeff Landry to be envoy to Greenland. I don't know.
Well, I mean, look, a lot of people, you may not believe this or not, a lot of people call me and they were like, what is up with Landry? What is up with Landry? People from our community, a lot of people call me and they ask me because they know that I have a relationship with the governor. And anyway, and so I said, look, I said, whatever it is, and I don't know. I don't have a clue. I have a theory, but I don't know. But what I do know is that Governor Landry and the Trump family, they have a mutual respect for each other, and I know that the Trump family trusts Governor Landry explicitly. And you know, obviously, there is something that the president and his cabinet or his people they want done. I would think that they can't do it, and Jeff is someone that they know that he's a solid soldier. They don't have to question, worry what at all. He's the perfect guy to go do it. And if it in fact is revolving around minerals or some particular minerals that are of a specific interest, it makes even more sense to me.
All right. Well, fair enough. And I don't want to belabor the point too much, but it is kind of a segue into some of the topics that we're going to discuss later on, including potential businesses coming to the Bossier area or to the state. These NDAs that we've been talking about and I've been railing against, and I think you agree with me for the most part, um, that are just crazy. So I don't know. All right.
Could be connected, may not be connected, but I think I have a strong case.
So I want to show you, I'm going to skip the high school bass deal till the end of the show, but I want to show you this video. Does everybody in the comments want to see it? Let us know in the audience if you would like to see this music video. Now, I have to tell everybody, I don't have the full video produced yet, so it's going to be the music playing and the lyrics showing. They'll be towards the bottom of the screen for now. But I fully plan to do a whole music video. You know, this kind of reminds me of, what was that song that somebody sent us way back when about the term limits? Remember that? It went over really well. As a matter of fact, we still use it for the intro to the show.
Yeah. I think if people probably put their mind to it, they could probably figure out who it was that sent it to us. We now know who sent it to us, but it was a good deal.
Yeah, and we've chosen to just kind of keep it a mystery. If that particular person wants to ever come on the show and fess up to it,
it wasn't us.
Yeah, he or she is more than welcome. And this is kind of a little bit of a similar deal, but anyway, so all right.
This is 100% you.
Well, it is 100% me. This is an anthem, and I just got inspired with all these, these NDAs. Again, I'm not saying it's illegal. Everybody knows my feelings. I've talked about it for several shows. I am just diametrically opposed on principle to these NDAs by government officials when they're dealing with public tax dollars. So here we go. This is a couple of minutes long, but let's listen to it, and I want you to let me know your thoughts, and in the comments, let us know. So here we go. Fire in the hole.
They stood on stages on Benton Road, smiled for signs, made voters bold. Transparency, yeah, that was a line, right up till the deals crossed the parish line. Council seats and jury rows, same old faces, same old shows. Public meetings, hands raised high, then they vanish when the papers fly. Said we represent the people here. Funny how the people disappear. They signed it in the dark behind City Hall. Police jury chambers, same old call. NDAs thicker than the voter rolls. If it's such a win, why hide the goals? They ran on daylight, governed at night, put both your secrets out of sight. Yeah, they signed in the dark and called it leadership. Economic development, that's the phrase. Sounds real good when the rooms are praised. Tax breaks flow in, silence bar. Power lines hum while answers rock. How many jobs? Don't ask that here. Can't discuss it, sign right here. Council shrugs, jury nods along. Same excuse, second verse, same song. Public money, private ink. Tell me again, who's supposed to think? They signed it in the dark behind City Hall. Police jury chambers, same old call. Data centers, megawatts, redacted prose. If it's such a benefit, why nobody knows? They campaigned loud, then dimmed the light. Swore secrecy somehow made it right. They signed in the dark and called it leadership. You don't get elected to operate like a corporation. You don't swear an oath to protect NDAs. City council seats on boardrooms, and the parish is in a private equity fund. When the noise shows up, when the bills climb fast, they'll say that deal was done in the past. When neighborhoods ask who approved the plan, they'll point to a pen, not a man. Minutes recorded, truth erased, sunshine laws put in a chokehold brace. You can't redact trust and expect it to stay. You can't mute voters and still get paid. They signed it in the dark, behind City Hall, police jury chambers, same coverall, data centers, hush clauses, corporate code, Bossier foot in the long-term load. They ran on truth, then buried the light, put their names on secrecy and slept just fine. Yeah, they signed in the dark, but the people remember. If you need an NDA to sell it, you shouldn't be selling it. If you can't explain it in public, you don't deserve the office. This is Bossier Watch, sunlight required. Sunlight required.
I like that.
Well, what'd
I
you
like
think
the,
there, Mr.
I
Lowrie?
like the sunlight required. I like the ending on that. I really do.
So, full disclosure, that is absolutely not me singing that at all. So,
I was getting a message already. Who sung that, Rex?
oh no 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 no.
Yes, Rex sung that.
Yeah. So anyway, it's going to take me a couple of days to finish the music video. It will be featuring some of our esteemed local politicians, some of whom we like, but still, you sign the NDAs, so you're on my radar and in my sights. But anyway, and we'll release it. I just think it's kind of fun. Hopefully it is for folks.
Yeah, so that is a great segue into I think the overall topic of what we're going to cover. Although we got what I think we got Jeff scheduled at 7:30. I don't know if we can get through it in eight
Yeah,
minutes.
well, and Jeff's in the green room right now. He just dialed in, so maybe I don't really know how we want to handle this because we're going to talk to Jeff about several topics. One of which is the Bossier Parish Police Jury and their video setup of all things, but it also our discussion needs to kind of tie into some of this other stuff. So
Yeah, as well. So, well, look, we can just kind of go down that road with Jeff and have that dialogue on all of this because he is probably more in tune with what's going on with the police jury. I know he is than what we have been, and so he can kind of weigh into this thing.
yeah, so I think if he's ready, he's sitting there in the green room patiently waiting. He's been there for a couple of minutes, but I'll go ahead and let me see. I can click a couple of buttons here and bring him on here in just a few minutes. Let's see here. Let's do that. Let's do that. Can you hear us, Mr. Jeff Sanow?
Oh, indeed I can.
Excellent. And we can hear you. That's even better.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So I don't know where we want to start exactly. Probably by lining that camera up a little better.
Yeah.
Let me see if
Trying to
I
get
can
it
zoom in and line
here.
him up a little bit. Hold.
I think we got it.
Yeah, find you a comfortable position, then I'll manipulate it in here a little bit. All right, there we go.
So Jeff, I wanted to go down this road, of physics and all this stuff tonight. And while I acknowledge I am not the brightest tool in the shed, I will say I have a theory. And with you being the intellectual type, I am actually excited about being able to run this thing by even you. And it all kind of ties together with this data center stuff that's going on, transparency, and what our local police jury, school board, they all had votes to defer the I guess you could say the debate on what the tax abatement was going to be or not to be to what's that organization, the Northwest Louisiana Economic Foundation or something. I got to look up the name. LWLFA. You familiar with them, Jeff?
Yep. Similar organizations in various parts of Louisiana.
Right. And I've got some cuts. I went and I found the police jury and as well like the school board and actually watched the video. And I think we've got the video of the police jury. And I know it's something that makes you mad because it makes me mad. I know it makes you mad. And Rex, we've got that. I think that cut. I think you put it in Restream, although we didn't mark it. I know on the YouTube video or the Facebook video, I had the timestamp marked.
Yeah, I did. So give me just a second and I'll go ahead and kind of cue that up. It won't take me but just a second here. I think this should be it. Let's see. And let me click over here. And so what I did, Duke, I saw that you had about the 44:18 minute marked for some kind, I guess it was tax abatement. I don't know. And then at about the 45-minute mark, they talk about the Northwest Louisiana Finance Authority.
Yeah. So at both points, if you'll play a little bit of both points, the first one and then the second one, and then we'll kind of talk about it a little bit. And Jeff, were you at this meeting or not? I think you were, weren't you?
No, I watched this online.
Okay.
Yeah, and we need to remind me, Jeff, because we need to have the whole discussion about their online situation, but we'll do that here in a minute. So, all right, Duke, I'm going to hit play and just tell me when you want me to stop it.
And financing capital project, ratify an amended resolution declaring the parish's intent to incur up to $6,500,000 in debt for capital projects and authorizing related actions, including state bond commission application and employment of bond counsel, and authorize the execution of documents.
I have a motion by Mr. Saucer and a second by Mr. Darby.
All right, it'll be coming up in just
any comments from the audience?
About 5 or 10 seconds.
Seeing none, please vote.
Okay.
All right. Maybe another second.
Motion passed.
All right, here we go.
Item number 25, other business resolution, Northwest Louisiana Finance Authority. Consider approval of a resolution approving annual payments in lieu of tax in accordance with one or more term sheets between the Northwest Louisiana Finance Authority and qualifying entities, and authorize the execution of documents.
I have a motion by Mr. Darby, second by Mr. Cochran. Any comments, questions, jurors? Any comments, questions from the audience? Seeing none, please vote.
Wait, there was no discussion about this?
Motion passed.
Okay, motion passed. You can stop right there.
Yep.
All right, let me get started here.
Remember in the early 70s, a movie called Gone in 60 Seconds, and then there was a remake of that, I think about 5 or 10 years ago. Well, gone in fewer than 30 seconds.
So let me ask you, Mr. Sadow, being the educated person and political type that you are and soothsayer of all things political here, did they just know about this through osmosis? I mean, how did they know what all this was about?
Oh, it should have been taken care of in the finance committee meeting, but they didn't have that, as it turned out. I was told by basically the communications representative for the jury that they had technical problems, so they didn't have a finance committee meeting, and so I guess they decided right here and there. There seemed to be some telepathic communication among all of them that this was the way to go, and that's the way they went.
All right. So first of all,
I got a question, Rex. You were referring to this. What was this?
Wait, you lost me. I'm sitting here
Can,
trying
can,
to
can, well,
maintain my soapbox about
well, I
this.
know, and I'm sorry, I stepped on your moment, but I'm just trying to determine what is this because the words that I heard uttered, I have no idea what they were talking about. Jeff, do
Well,
you have any idea what they were talking about?
yeah, educate us on what this NWLFA is. This is a new acronym to me.
Yeah, but what are they
Yeah.
voting on to give them? What is this?
Well, this non-governmental organization will allow them to have access to be able to entice potentially a data center to Bossier Parish.
Hmm.
Well,
Seems like we've
I
been
didn't
talking
read
about data centers a
I didn't
lot.
read data center anywhere. Does it actually say that somewhere?
Not to my knowledge, but I guess any qualifying applicant has access to this stream of funding, and certainly I think data centers are, if they are going to come here, are going to apply for this kind of thing.
So, reading between the lines, it sounds like some more of our government overlords, benevolent overlords, have apparently signed NDAs. I mean, they're being there was like no discussion of this. What
Yep,
gives?
your guess is as good as mine. There seems to be some acceptance of potential suitors for whatever this might be. So sure, whatever the parish administration might think is a good deal, I think the jurors are all on board with it.
All right, let me pose this question another way, and I may catch you off guard, Jeff. So you can answer it however you want or not.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion of government officials and government bodies? In the case of attracting new businesses or whatever, what is your opinion on signing NDAs with corporate bodies or corporate suitors or however we want to call it?
There's a lot of competition. A lot of governments are doing this. It might be tough to ask someone to go against the grain to oppose something like this. At the same time, you do need to have a government authority who's in charge of these kinds of things to be able to ask those kinds of questions. And looking at the history of the recent history, at least, of the Bossier Parish Police Jury, I'm unsure whether these are the kinds of questions that would be asked by jurors or even the parish administration for a deal like this.
All right, Mr. Lowrie.
That is my deal. Danny McCormick, and I'll use Danny as a great example. Danny is probably, and maybe I shouldn't say the most libertarian elected official I know, but he's certainly not in favor of government, giving the kickbacks to business as in the name of economic development and all that. And um, a lot of people were complaining at Bossier City, and I think maybe we should take some responsibility because we put so much emphasis on Bossier City over the past few years, and that's where a lot of people have directed their fire. And I think that fire was misled by people really looking at Bossier City because Bossier City was never in the hunt to make a decision on tax abatement or the stuff that say Danny McCormick, calls out of government picking winners and losers. And in this case, it was going to be the police jury. And we just showed the video. There was nobody there to ask a question. There was nobody there. The nobody in the public, but not even a police juror took the initiative to go a step further to address any of the questions. They just kind of checked out of saying, hey, do we have enough capacity to support electricity? Is it going to be the best fit for the community? And I think I'm not lobbying against the project, but I am saying I think elected officials have a responsibility to try to talk about those things and allay the fears of citizens. And it seems like all of our elected officials, nobody wants to do that. Is that your opinion and take as well?
Yeah, a few simple questions would have been nice. I mean, just things like, what do we think that the uh, potentially the capacity for water usage would be? Electricity, of course, that's more a public service commission kind of thing. Um, Maybe questions about infrastructure, like are roads going to be stressed as a result of this? Yeah, I mean, and again, this is the kinds of things that the parish administration can also ask, but those kinds of things weren't even addressed. It'd have been nice if our parish administrator had stepped up and said, "All right, well," given maybe a few details, saying, "All right, well, we think that we're not going to see." I mean, this is something he could have said, and maybe something different, but um, we're not going to see abnormal stress on our roads. We're not going to see our water system stressed, things like that. No, it was gone in 30.
So you would think, seeing as we haven't mentioned her name in a while, but the little princess is a lawyer, you would think that she would be able to come up with some sort of discussion of topics that would not violate the NDA, but may prompt, some discussion of the sort of things that you're talking about with the infrastructure. But oh no, there was complete silence while they introduced the Northwest Louisiana Finance Authority, another acronym, and just willy nilly agree to move money around. Lots of money.
Yeah, or any juror. It doesn't. You're elected to that position. Those are the kinds of questions that you should be thinking about and asking. They weren't.
Well, for me, and I was thinking about this today when you were going to come on, and I want to get back to Danny McCormick and economic development and government picking winners and losers and using taxpayer dollars to try to promote business to come here. You know, I have a business in Bossier. I don't get any tax breaks. I mean, what makes these big companies? I mean, shouldn't I get the same tax benefit that they're getting? They're literally getting a benefit from taxes that I pay. On my business. They're getting the benefit of that and getting getting breaks. I, I, how can anybody reasonably think that that's right? I mean, if it's good enough to do, it should be able to do it without having government subsidies. Am I missing the point? Because I'm still today, and I agree
No.
with Danny McCormick. I'm waiting on somebody to break it down and explain it to me. But it seems like every time somebody gets elected, that's the holy grail, economic development. I mean, explain it to me or give me tell me something here.
Yeah. By principle, you're absolutely correct. It shouldn't matter if you're creating 5 jobs or 500. If you're creating jobs, then you ought to be getting some kind of break. If you're going to offer breaks for those who are creating 500, well, then yeah, you should extend that to 5. But politically, we know, sorry, that's not possible. And so, yeah, if you're out there creating several hundred, then you're going to have a lot of people chasing after you and throwing pilots or whatever after you to do that. So, it's the way that the world works. And, I'm afraid that you're well versed in that.
So let me pose this question to you also, Jeff. In my research, most of these data centers don't really employ that many people beyond the initial construction phase and all that. The initial construction phase, yeah, you look at the Meta Center that they're building over in Richland Parish. That's a massive data center. Well, tons of construction going on, thousands of jobs, at least for the next couple of years. But after that, by Facebook or Meta's own numbers, the number of employees for that particular center will be somewhere around 500 or less. Scaling that down to the potential size of this data center that they've been talking about up around the Benton area, which would be under the parish's purview. This thing's not going to produce that many jobs. I'm sure there'll be decently paying jobs, but have you done any analysis or given any thought to the comparison of the tax incentives or tax abatements versus the taxing or the tax dollars that the jobs will generate? I mean, does there seem to be any balance or rhyme to reason to this?
Well, we've heard this before. 15, almost 20 years ago in Bossier City, talking about, the Cyber Innovation Center. It's going to suck in 10,000 jobs. It's going to, just create this massive tax bounty for Bossier City and Bossier Parish. Well, it didn't happen. They, maybe they got a few hundred, but the point of the matter is, let's say all these people end up living in Bossier Parish or Bossier City, so there's property taxes involved. They buy houses and all, and then of course sales taxes. They spend their money in Bossier Parish. It could not have come close to the amount of money that was given away for this. That was largely borne by state taxpayers, but again, 35 million for Bossier City, 15 million for the parish, and I'm pretty sure to this day we haven't recouped that, Bossier Parish or Bossier City. So, same thing may happen here, and certainly again, it's great to have jobs. It's great to have that extra tax revenue. Whether that is compensated for by any payment in lieu of taxes or whatever arrangement that, if this thing comes, that the parish and or city or whoever, school board, whoever's involved with this, it depends on the deal that's made, but it may or may not end up compensating for the amount of money that is given to try to attract this particular entity.
All right, so let me pose this another way to another scenario. So, and this is a hypothetical here, but it's realistic. I could see if whether it's a data center or whatever business was going to bring in, I'm just going to pick a number. Let's say it was 500 decently or high paying jobs, and they were going to bring in 500 new people to the area. All right, that would boost the tax rolls. But basically, if they hire locally, which we all want them to do, aren't we just kind of reshuffling the food on our plate as far as the recouped tax dollars or potential recouped tax dollars? It's like when my mother used to tell me, you need to eat all your food on your plate. And as soon as she'd turn her back, I'd shuffle my food around to make it look like I ate all the food on my plate. But really, it was the same amount of food on my plate. Am I far off in thinking there?
No. Again, it depends on who gets upgraded, let's say, to these jobs, and then who replaces those upgraded people in their old jobs. But again, kind of depends on the deal that's being made. If it's again, if it's not a great deal, then the city, the parish, the school board, whoever, they're going to lose money on it. And again, certainly, and if you look at the Hyperion project in Richland Parish, that's so big, inevitably that's going to be, I think, a benefit to Richland Parish. Even when you look at the terms of extra expense on roads and the things like that, still, it's just such a large scale. Now, here, I don't know. I don't know what the scale of this project, if it ever happens, is going to be. But my thinking is it's not going to be nearly as extensive, and it's probably not going to bring in nearly as many tax dollars. And so that makes the actual deal itself, whatever the parish, city, whoever is going to acquiesce to, that makes that crucial. Because again, I'm not saying that there can't be a good deal for the parish and the city and all that will be a net benefit to taxpayers and residents. But depending upon the scale, the smaller the scale is, the less likely it's going to be that there can be a good deal out of this.
Well, you got any input there, Mr. Lowry, or are you trying to calculate
Oh,
and get your physics book out and start studying up?
well, so looking at this thing a little bigger, I mean, with Governor Landry now appointed to be the whatever it is, liaison to Greenland or emissary, I don't know whatever the title was. I don't know
Special
what
envoy.
There you go. Okay, special envoy. So riddle me this. Did either of y'all, and which Rex I know is cheating because I already told you, but did you see the announcement that Trump Media was merging with an energy company last week, maybe Friday? Did you see that, Jeff?
I did see that, in fact.
Oh, okay. Well, then you know where I'm going.
Mhm.
So, for those of you that hadn't paid attention, Donald Trump started the Truth Social, spawned out of the fact that I think it was the 2020 elections, Facebook and Twitter and all those groups were like, unbiased. So he started Truth Social to have something to try to counter. So it's a media company. Well, this past week, there was an announcement that company was merging with an energy company that has expended a lot of money trying to develop fusion nuclear reactor technology, small reactor. And a lot of y'all watching, you may recall, I think it was this past year in the legislature, there was a big push to try to approve a mini nuclear reactor
Own
for the
senator
state of.
from Rosa Parish.
Interestingly, yes, you're right. So fast forward now, the governor of the same state is the whatever it was you said he was to Greenland, which ironically has a lot of the minerals that are required for these nuclear processes. I'm just my theory here is that allegedly Barksdale may be home to the first type of thing there. Now, I would, jumping on the other side, say there's one distinction between what I'm saying here and what was proposed in the legislature is that what was approved in the legislature was fission versus the company that's merging with Truth Social is fusion, which is those are different. But I could easily see the legislature jumping through hoops to change the language of a few letters at the snap of a finger.
All right, hold on a second. So first of all, if they're going to go in, surely our legislators, although, well, maybe they are. I guess I really shouldn't even say this. Surely they're not dumb enough to just change that and expect it to work, because there is an immense difference in fission and fusion.
Did you really say what you just said? Did you?
I was trying to parse my words somewhat carefully, but all right, look, if you want to see, you know what, you can see fusion. As a matter of fact, you could kind of see it right now, Duke, if it's not cloudy outside. You know how? You just go out there and stare up at some of those nice twinkling stars up there. Or wait till tomorrow when that big ball of fire comes up in the sun. Comes up in
Y'all
the
can
sky.
bash me, but if it turns out to be true, y'all are going to look back and say, damn, that guy was a genius. He was ahead of his time. But if I don't say anything, nobody will ever know.
I'm not saying it's not feasible in the future, and even maybe in the near future. I mean, all things are possible. Look, nobody thought that anybody was going to space outside of a government entity, and Elon Musk and SpaceX came along and proved that to be upside down.
And several other firms, yes.
And several other firms,
things
but
in space,
Elon's the one that everybody would recognize. Anyway, with SpaceX and all that. So I'm not saying it is not possible, but the problem is being able to do it on a scale that would at least somewhat efficiently be able to convert the energy required over to electricity or whatever they were going to use it for. It takes a massive amount of heat and energy for the fusion to happen. Now, there was the whole debacle with the cold fusion back in, when was it, Jeff? The late 80s or early 90s, where these scientists had, quote unquote, come up with cold fusion, but nobody could replicate what they were doing.
Yeah, it was.
So there's a difference in
Because they didn't do
fusion and cold fusion. But if you want to see fusion, just watch tomorrow when the sun comes up. It's a big ball of fusion going on.
But you're missing the point.
Okay.
I mean, Landry was made this person for a reason. I mean, he's going to go up there. I shared my screen. I got a little chart. You got to share this little chart. I need to show you. Let me see
if I can get it shared. Hold on. I'm not sure if I will set up for the guests, so give me just a second. Just ad lib for a minute or two.
Because here's where we stand. I mean, but this chart, there's one mistake in this chart. It does not show what Louisiana has, because look, if the United States can't acquire Greenland and it become part of the United States, I mean, at least we can send somebody up there that can do some trading. So who better than Landry? He's going to go up there with a truckload of Nutri-Rat, and he's going to trade for some lithium, aluminum, and other rare earths that we need to complete the fusion. I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
Because I can just see. China's kicking our butt. They got 92% of the rare earths. Lithium. Look at it. 70.
But they ain't got fusion yet.
Well, the company that is merging with Donald Trump says they got it, and they said in 2026 they're ready to start construction.
Just because they say it, Trump says a lot of things that I don't agree with and a lot that I do. But just because somebody says it, hello, Solyndra during the Obama administration. Pipe dreams.
You know who's been funding this company? Who the major source of revenue for this company has been to fund this whole thing? Google.
Who would that be?
Google. I mean, they ain't got no money. I mean, I know they're rubbing two pennies together. I get it.
Well, look, they got to come up with something, because AI is taking over the search results. Google's no longer going to be king of search results before too much longer. So that's why they're having to do this. Maybe they need a tax write-off.
Okay, Jeff, the debate. You've heard the argument. Let the beatings begin. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, certainly the U.S. would benefit from having these rare earths metals for defense purposes. And, the thing is, we have to understand is that while Denmark has a certain attitude towards this, which is fairly negative, Greenlanders do not. Greenland, in the latest iteration of the law that governs how Greenland is governed, that was 2009. There was an explicit provision set in there for a road to independence, and basically it's something that Greenlanders can start on their own, and they can essentially trigger a referendum to become independent from Denmark. So what Trump is really trying to do here is drive a wedge between Denmark and Greenland. Because if you look at the commentary about this, of course, the Danish government's all upset about it. But the Greenlanders, the semi-autonomous government that they have in place, they basically shrug it off. And there has been in the last 5 or so years, because this is not the first time that Trump has talked about this. He talked about this in the first term. And at the time, there was some positive reaction from some of the opinion makers in Greenland about this. Again, we're talking about 55,000 people, so there's not a lot of opinion makers there, but there were some in the Greenland government itself that were made not disapproving sounds about the idea that Greenland should become independent, if not associated in some way with the U.S. So this is what Trump's trying to do. He's trying to increase the pressure on the Danish government, and at the very least, what he hopes to accomplish is to get them to pay more attention to Greenland and to contribute more to its defense and security aspects than what they're doing right now, which may or may not be possible. I mean, Denmark is a country of about 5 million people, and they produce a lot of great cyclists, but in terms of clout that they have on the world stage, it's not that much. So Trump is, I think, trying to encourage them to do more. But if they can't do more, then he's throwing out there the alternative that, all right, Greenland can go out there, go through the process, separate itself from Denmark, and then enter into a closer relationship with the U.S. And so that's why Governor Landry's, as he said, his task is to go over there and to make a sales pitch essentially to Greenlanders, saying, this is what we can do. So why don't you think about independence?
All right, so Duke, I got to ask you, because I see you've got lithium on your nice, cute chart here, and aluminum and copper, which the lithium is fine because of our current battery technology. And to address Alice Boyer's question, what about the lithium in Arkansas? That is an ongoing process, and basically it's going to probably end up mining, or not mining, but producing a lot of lithium when they get the brine going, and most of the systems are actually in place to do that. But what I don't see up there, Duke, is deuterium or tritium. And deuterium is like exceedingly abundant in the ocean.
Yeah, well, I mean, so are catfish. But
well, I guess Greenland's surrounded by ocean for the most part, but I'm just thinking, there's like enough deuterium in like I can't remember if it's a tablespoon or a handful of ocean water that can provide enough energy in the fusion process that's the equivalent to a barrel of oil.
So are you suggesting that they build this fusion reactor in Cleo Fields' district closer to the Gulf or something? Is that what you're saying? Or
look, if they have the technology
in the district of the Speaker of the House? I don't know. I'm just...
If they have the technology, if this company has the technology or really truly thinks that they can, I don't care if they build it in my backyard. Fusion's cool. Well, it's really hot, but unless it's cold fusion, but I mean, it's a cool technology.
Yeah, well,
I'm all for it. I'm not trying to campaign against it. I'm just saying it's a little bit of a pipe dream to think that we're going to have a viable fusion reaction solution within a couple of years just because Trump's investing in it.
Well, we also thought that Georgia had a fair election, and we also thought that wearing masks was the appropriate thing, and the COVID vaccine was safe, and to which we know we're all BS. But to the point of Alice Landry and the lithium thing, I read a report this other week, and maybe one of y'all read it, that Elon Musk, through the space program, they had developed a way to convert some waste to lithium that was going to do away with lithium mining and all of that stuff. You may research it, look into it a little bit. I wish I'd have saved that report, but it was detailed, and the SpaceX team apparently, because they have a high demand for lithium and they were trying to solve this problem, and apparently they did come up with something pretty good. The report I read said that all conventional methods of producing lithium were going to be null and void after release of the process they had developed or whatever.
Oh, whoops. Hold on. Let me get Jeff back. Hold on, Jeff. Wrong button. Okay, there you are.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your take on this, Jeff? I mean, do you have an opinion on the potential for the data? Well, for it not being a data center, potentially for a fusion reactor. I don't know. I mean, we're all just speculating here and going down rabbit holes or neutral rabbit holes.
Yes, we don't know. The school board, the police jury, both approved financial arrangements for X, whatever it is. I guess we'll find out. I mean, the speculation was, of course, that the Shreveport data center, this was a bailout for them if they didn't make it over there, that they would just hop over the river Of course, the Shreveport City Council overturned the decision made by their planning commission. So apparently it's going to happen there. So I don't know if there's another suitor out there that's looking at Bossier Parish, or if this again was just a fallback position and nothing's going to happen now as a result. But again, we've heard from the parish, from the school board, from Benton, which apparently has the authority over that particular area, that something's in the works. So I guess we're going to find out.
I'd heard some scuttlebutt that somebody had looked up some of the filings for the company on the Caddo side and the company potentially over here on the Bossier side, and that they were either the same or similar companies. Did y'all hear any of that?
Yeah, identical. So I don't know. Maybe the guy has got another client, or maybe it was the same client. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out in the near future.
I have heard from a source that all three of the proposed centers were the same company.
We'll see. And look, for the record, again, I'm all for the data centers. I'm all for fusion technology. I'm all for bringing a fusion reactor online in Bossier Parish across the street from me. But I am diametrically opposed to the NDAs, number one. And I don't think that the fusion technology is going to be viable within the near future. I hope that I'm wrong.
I think everybody should get the same tax breaks. Everybody. I said what
Good
I
luck
said.
with that.
Yeah, right.
Well, let's talk about something a little simpler, Mr. Sadow, and something that's much easier to pick on. That would be the police jury's video streams. Now, can you review this discussion or email exchange or whatever that you had with, who was it? Is he head of the police jury's IT department? Who was this guy, and what's the situation
it's Rod
with their
White.
streams?
You're who you've communicated with on a number of occasions, the parish information officer. The thing about the parish, and this is kind of what amazes me. In the special election that was held recently for District 1, we had the winning candidate say one of the reasons why, or he thought, in his opinion, that the parish did just this outstanding job in transparency, which I have to quibble with, because as you've mentioned many times in this program, in recent months or the last couple of years, the parish has broadcast their meetings on Facebook. And now let's review the law that was passed last year in the legislature that expanded essentially the requirements for dissemination of live or near live broadcasting of meetings of many different bodies, not just police juries, but even down, as many have argued, to committees in universities would actually have to broadcast or archive this information. Essentially, how it works is either you have to broadcast it in some form over the internet, most likely, or you have to archive it and make that archiving available. So you can do one or the other. Ideally, you do both. And the only only exception to that is if you had technical difficulties, then you would be exempt from having to fulfill this requirement. Now, as you've talked about before on the program, the Bossier Police Jury will transmit through Facebook Live. And the problem is, of course, as you've identified, is Facebook Live, as of some months ago, is only archived for 30 days and it disappears completely. So there's no record whatsoever. So this is what the police jury has been doing now for a number of years is Facebook Live. And so not a bad deal when Facebook was archiving essentially on their own. But again, several months ago, they stopped doing that. So now after 30 days, whatever is posted on Facebook from the police jury now disappears, and we'll, I guess, technically no longer see it because, I don't know, Rex, you know more about this than I do, but if they don't keep it, I don't know that you can go back on Facebook and let's say someone does a public records request and says, all right, I want to see this police jury meeting from this date, and it's older than 30 days. I don't know that Facebook would then be able to resurrect that and be able to shoot it back to the police jury and then be able to give it to whoever's making that public records request. So unless that's possible, that means these are gone forever, unless somebody's out there recording them, which you might be doing, or maybe somebody else. But they're gone forever. But to make matters worse, the new law also specified that a governing authority over a certain size, and certainly according to the law, Bossier Parish is way above that in terms of population. They had to also transmit committee meetings. And of course, the police jury has several committees that meet and dispense with business of some kind, including the kind of mega committees that deal with the consolidated water and sewage districts. There's two of them in Bossier. They will typically meet, and that's supposed to be something that's transmitted or broadcasted as well. Now, what they will do, though, for most of these committee meetings, not for the water and sewage district meetings, but for all the other committee meetings, is they will put them on Zoom. And what they will do, though, is they do not archive these. Now, again, this is permitted in the state law. They're required either to broadcast them live or close to live, or to archive them. Ideally, they do both, but the Bossier Parish Police Jury doesn't. They will broadcast on Zoom their committee meetings. They will not archive them. And let me tell you, during the pandemic, having to deal with this at LSUS, all you have to do to archive them is throw one switch, and that's it. It'll record, and then you can keep it, download it, and put it out there. But they will not do that, and I cannot understand why. I mean, the bandwidth these days is infinitesimal. I mean, it's minuscule that to be able to store that and to shoot it out to whoever wants to look at it. So
Let me
I don't understand.
pause you. Let me
Yeah.
pause you right there. It's even worse because here's the way we do the show, and you're right. I'm a pretty good expert in all this, but I have every video we have ever recorded, every one of them archived, every one of them. Like right now, tonight, I am recording a copy of the entire show as the audience sees it. Individually, I am recording my video stream, your video stream, Jeff, Duke's video stream, and the software records independent audio tracks as well as all of the comments. And I have all of that archived. And it costs me, we're paying for the software that we use. Actually, we store it in Dropbox, to be honest. So I pay Dropbox for the extra storage and all that. But here's the silly thing. We're broadcasting right now to Facebook, to Twitter or X, and to YouTube. And the nice thing about YouTube's platform is YouTube doesn't delete the videos unless we really say something crazy and they deplatform us, but YouTube doesn't cut the videos. Even the city council is smart enough to stream to YouTube, and it doesn't cost the police jury anything. It costs literally zero to stream it multi-platform. They can continue to stream it to Facebook, but they could also send it over to YouTube. And it only takes about 2 to 3 megabits per stream. So I'm sure if I have the bandwidth to my little old home connection here, I'm quite sure the parish has the bandwidth to send it as well. And I'm quite sure they've got a few dollars to buy some hard drives and archive all of this. I mean, it's just ridiculously stupid from a technical standpoint, and whoever they hired in charge of this is a moron. Okay, now I finally said it.
Let me tell you, Monroe, the city of Monroe, city council, they will stream their meetings on Facebook. And they don't use YouTube or anything else. But what they will do is they have another service, and I forget its name exactly, but they will, after the stream to Facebook has ended, the council meetings ended, they shoot it towards this other third-party provider, and they archive it. I mean, so what I'm saying is you don't even have to use YouTube or anything else to have an archive. You can use Facebook Live, which they use now, and there are other services that will provide for that. And again, I'm sure the cost is close to zero. So I do not understand why they won't do this. A government that spends $200 million a year on operating and capital expenditures, and they can't squeeze out a few pennies to be able to do this. I don't understand.
Yeah, if Duke and I can afford this out of our pockets, they can afford it, I'm sure, out of all of our pockets as well. Again, I'll make this offer. If any of our benevolent overlords at the police jury are watching and you would like some advice for free on how to do this, just let me know. You have mine and Duke's phone numbers. Reach out. I'll be glad to tell you how to do it. And we won't even have to admit that I've told you how to do it.
And the friend of the program, Wes Marriott, about a year ago, I think it was, went in front of the jury and made that offer. And they said, thanks for playing, and, whatever.
Idiots. Our police jury is full of idiots. All right. So now that I've really pissed off our local politicians, what say you, Mr. Lowrie?
Well, look, well, you piss off the politicians, I'm going to piss off the public. I mean, who keeps putting these people in?
Fair point.
I mean, if you allow them to sign blank checks to some, organization that's going to negotiate half of the parish without having, you having the benefit of all of the details, you're voting for these people to do that. And I have a problem with that. I mean, I don't know. How do we get our public to get more engaged? I appreciate people going to Bossier City. And again, I'll take some responsibility for that because we've been focused on Bossier City for so long. But it's time to transition to the police jury because Bossier City is not making the decision on tax abatement. They're not the ones. The questions should have been being posed to the police jury, school board. That's the entities we should have been posing some of the questions to, right?
And if you look at property taxes, Bossier City about 25 mils, school board more like 75 mils, and then the parish farther over 100 for that. So I mean, that's where, at least in terms of property taxes, our dollars are going to. We're paying much more in taxes to the parish and school board than we are to the city, those of us who live in Bossier City. So yeah, I mean, and yet, you watch a police jury meeting and there's very little debate. There's very little brought up. Of course, it's a little different than with, say, Bossier City, because we're talking about a number of elected part-time officials who are getting their information from a professional administration. In other words, people that are not elected, people that are put there by the jury, of course. So, I can understand why there's a deference to this, because they're part-timers. The parish government are full-timers, and they're the ones dealing with the nuts and bolts of all of this. But still, there should be questions asked, and certainly when we're looking at the meetings themselves, even if just it's for the even if they know the answers, they should ask questions to assure the public that things are being done in the most cost efficient mechanism that's possible.
Can't disagree with that at all. At all.
100%. 100%.
Well, Duke, we've been saying for a long time now that we needed to turn our attention back towards the police jury since the city council has gotten a little bit boring, except the NDAs. So maybe that time is 2026 where we full force. Hey, Jeff, I got a question for you. You were mentioning the law that changed on the video archiving. So it's my understanding that the government bodies that are required to record video still have to record the video, whether they live stream it or not. So they've got to have, or let me rephrase that, let me ask it. Are they required to keep an archive? So if you or I did a public information request, let's say for a police jury meeting back in July, which would be outside of Facebook's deletion window, they would have to be able to produce that, or at a minimum, the audio recording. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I think so, because if they do not archive the meetings as they happen, or at least if we're talking about Facebook Live 30 days, then I think for a certain number of years, I'd have to go back and look at that, but for a certain period of time, they would have to have that available. So now again, you can not have to broadcast them live and still fulfill that. So for example, if we look at the Bossier Levy Board, because they will record their meetings, they don't post them live, they don't broadcast them live, but they have them available. And if you ask, then they give them to you. Then they're legally they're complying. But I'm not sure if we're talking about a broadcast that happens but then disappears after 30 days. I'm not entirely sure what the law has to say about that. But I think it is worth looking into. The thing again, when we look at Bossier Parish, it's the 14th largest parish in the state in terms of population, and you would think that this wouldn't be an issue, that there would be broadcasting and archiving going on simultaneously. Let's say permanent archiving instead of temporary archiving, which is what they're really doing with Facebook Live. You think that would be an issue, but apparently it is. And I haven't looked at other parishes and how they handle this, but I'm pretty confident in saying that they probably have archiving that lasts longer than 30 days and live broadcasting. Let's put it that way.
Well, let me put this in perspective, and I don't want to beat this dead horse, but I'm really on this bandwagon right now. So I just looked up while we're live right here, the total amount of storage for all the Bossier Watch shows. So that's tonight we're on 283 or 284. The total archive storage space for all the Bossier Watch shows, and again, that's with redundant video recordings as well as separate audio recordings, takes up less than a terabyte. Do you know how much a terabyte hard drive is? I can go buy one all day long for about $49 or $59.
Yes, I bought one recently, and that's about what I paid. So, yeah, I don't understand them.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll leave it alone for now.
The costs are close to zero, and the effort to do it is close to zero, but it's not done. So whatever.
I think y'all understand it about the same way I understand why everybody but the new businesses going through the port and WWF getting tax breaks. I think y'all understand it about the same way I understand that.
Yeah, there's just no understanding it.
Yeah. Well, the next police jury meeting, I think, is in around the 16th of January, something like that. And all I can say is take a look at what happens there. there will be another topic introduced, and I know the guy who might introduce it. You're looking at him, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Very interesting.
Awesome. We will be watching.
All right. So, Mr. Sadow, do you have anything else you would like to share with the audience tonight?
Not at this time. Give me a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for spending your Tuesday evening with us. So what is this? The evening before Christmas Eve? I guess that would be kind of correct.
Yeah.
I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and Happy New Year if we don't talk to you before then, and your family as well.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff. Enjoy your friendship.
All right, Mr. Lowrie.
All right. Well, look, I mean, Jeff was being nice. I could read his body language. He was wanting to rip me on the fusion stuff, but he was being nice. I get it, and I don't care. Y'all can all just be haters. But if I'm right,
look,
y'all are all going to say he's a damn genius. He's a damn genius.
You will get to come back before long and say, I told you so to me. And that will be an interesting day. Look, I in all honesty, I do hope that fusion becomes a viable technology in the near future because it could be a game changer for energy and a lot of other things. So I'm certainly not opposed to fusion. We'll see.
Yeah, no doubt. Val Baker says, didn't the state approve NDAs with Stephen Jackson's filing the bill? Yeah, that's
Yes.
correct. Sure did.
Yes, he did. And
Hey,
I think we talked about it a show or two ago.
hey, look, a little bit of a change. I got my share screen on. I don't know if we're going to be able to hear this or not, but let's try it. There's a candidate running for
yeah.
U.S. Senate in Minnesota, and
Okay. Yeah.
I got to tell you, this guy caught my attention. He reminds me a lot of Andrew Tate, and I think it's a lot. I mean, which probably a lot of y'all. That guy is he's pretty abrasive. A lot of people doesn't like him, but this guy reminds me a lot of him. And it's because he's got the shaved head and the beard and all that. But if you listen to the words of this guy,
Yeah, let me get the screen share go up. So go ahead and keep setting it up.
I think I may be wrong, but I think that this guy's words appeal to most all of our audience, most of the people, and that means if you're a Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter what party you are. But I think this guy and where he's coming from appeals more to. Does that help? Nope,
Yeah,
that
let
didn't
me
help.
see. I'm trying to resize it a little bit here. Give me a second here. I gotta remember which key I gotta hit to do this. Give me just a moment here. There we go. Oops. Give me just a second. I'll get it in there. All right. So first of all, let's see if we can get some audio going. So why don't you go ahead and hit play and let's see if we have audio. If not, send it to me in a link and I'll pull it up on my end. Hit play for a second. And we don't have audio. All right. Shoot it to me in a text message real quick.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, because I did want to hear that guy's. I did want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing, this guy and his words. And he actually, I don't know if he knew it or not, but the words he uses during the Civil War, Grant, made a comment regarding, uh, you know, patriots and insurrectionists or patriots and everybody else. And this guy makes a comment that echoes that sentiment about, our country, our patriotism, and all that stuff. And it kind of caught me off guard and struck a nerve.
All right, so I got the link, but that took me to his profile page. How far down do I need to scroll to get to the interview?
Okay, stand by.
Right. Just a second, folks. Technical not difficulties, but there you
Let
go.
me drop it right here again. This ought to be the right one. There you go. Now we're cooking with
That is
Crisco.
it. All right. Yeah, give me just a second. Let me perfect. So let me pause that, and then I'll
So listen
unmute
to this guy. Listen to his words. And what do y'all think? I mean, does this not echo how you feel? I mean, because it sure is. He sure touches on a lot of the points and how I feel. And I'm just wondering if everybody else feels the same way.
Say you become Minnesota's next U.S. Senator.
Yes.
Would you work across party lines to accomplish change?
There are no party lines anymore.
What do you mean by that?
There are no party lines. There are only patriots and nationalists and globalists. There are no party lines.
But there are still senators from different party perspectives.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, on for the theater.
So, are you willing?
There aren't a handful of America First, unbought and paid for United States senators in the entire United States Senate.
How about this? How would you collaborate with counterparts?
Tell the truth. I'm not collaborating with traitors. I'm not collaborating with, and some people would say, well, that makes you unqualified to run for the office. The prerequisite is that you have to become enmeshed in the corruption of the machine in order to be a viable candidate. And I think that's what's wrong with American political culture, is that we expect our candidates to sell out, but then we tell them not to.
Collaboration is selling out?
If the collaboration is to undermine the fabric of this country and the value of citizenship, for sure.
I'm thinking about like writing bills and like.
Where do you think the selling out of this nation happens?
Okay, fair, fine. All right, I clearly you have issues with the system.
For sure.
Okay.
I have huge issues with the system. I have huge issues with omnibus bills. I have huge issues with the special interests and lobby money in D.C. I have a huge issue with the fact that it's a conventional prerequisite that a United States Senate candidate has to have pre-committed to a lobby, a special interest and lobby, to have any chance of raising the money necessary to win one of these campaigns. I object to all of that.
I can't say that I disagree with him at all. That's pretty close to where I stand.
Yeah, that's 100%. I mean, and this guy, Royce White, I'm telling y'all, I think you need to watch this guy. I mean, look, Minnesota is got a lot of corruption and all, but this populist message, I mean, a populist message crosses party lines, and whether people want to acknowledge it or not, whether you're Democrat, Libertarian, Republican, you have more in common than what you think. You want your life to be better. You don't want government running your life. You don't want, some unknown person that's not an elected official deciding what's in your best interest and what's not. That's that populist message. I mean, we've seen it and know it better in Louisiana than most people, with the Long era. And that was a populist message that appealed. And, some say he was assassinated because he had a chance at being possibly president because that message was so appealing. I'm not saying this guy's like that at all, but what I am saying is that populist message in a state like Minnesota that is 50-50 split by a hair, that's a message that crosses party lines. That guy could do it. People would say his effectiveness in D.C. and the Senate would be zero. But I mean, look, they also said Trump wouldn't be effective. They said Trump could never get there. And look what he's doing.
Yeah,
I mean, he's turning tables over.
And
send him some help.
Trump has a very populist message. Look, I've said it more times than I can count on this very show, much to the dismay of some of my Republican friends, that I vote Republican because I can't pull the lever for democratic principles. But, when I say that I tend to lean more libertarian than Republican in many respects, the message that we just heard this guy say, that's pretty much why. Because it's almost a uniparty system. It really, truly is in many respects, with very, very few exceptions. So, yeah, that was a great video to find there, Mr. Lowrie.
Well, look, Merry Christmas to you, Rex, and your family, and all of you watching. We appreciate, another year of Bossier Watch, and you guys, supporting us, hanging in there with us. We're going to keep trudging along, trying to make a difference within our community. I know you agree with this because a long time ago when we first met, one of the things that I was articulating and saying was that I wanted to try to change things locally. You agreed with that wholeheartedly. And indirectly, we found another way of doing that. And I hope we're doing that. I hope we're making a difference. And I think we're going to continue to try to make that difference. And, thanks everybody for supporting us and being there with us.
Yeah, and I want to say Merry Christmas to you and your lovely bride and your children, and Merry Christmas to everybody out there watching. And hey, I'm up for another year of it if you are, Mr. Lowrie.
Well, let's keep digging. Let's redirect our fire, because according to Mr. Smith in South Bossier, and that's not Cliff Smith, but Cliff Smith, they are boring.
I hope they stay that way.
But look, let me give everybody a laugh real quick. I forgot. I sent you. Did you know somebody allegedly sent all the councilmen a Christmas gift? Did you know that?
I did not know that. What did they send them?
Well, somebody happened to put one in my hand, and I sent you a picture messenger. It's there.
Okay.
Already.
Let's see.
Scroll up a little bit.
And just a second, let me find this. So I was clicking on a few buttons here. Let me see if I can.
Some of you may find entertainment in this. Some of you may not find entertainment in this. But as I appreciate it, all the councilmen got a gift. And it was an ornament to put on their tree with a truck hauling all the chickens out of Bossier.
Now that is truly hilarious. They deserve that one. All right. Wow. All right. Well, Merry Christmas to everybody. Mr. Lowrie, we have had a request to play the song again, so I'm going to kill our feeds and just play the song, and we're out of here. Merry Christmas to everybody. I guess we'll be doing a show next week, right before the 1st. Sound good to you?
Yep. Sounds good.
I will see you then, and here we go with the song.
They stood on stages on Benton Road, smiled for signs, made voters bold. Transparency, yeah, that was a line, right up till the deals crossed the parish line. Council seats and jury rows, same old faces, same old shows. Public meetings, hands raised high, then they vanish when the papers fly. Said we represent the people here. Funny how the people disappear. They signed it in the dark, behind City Hall. Police jury chambers, same old call. NDAs thicker than the voter rolls. If it's such a win, why hide the goals? They ran on daylight, governed at night. Put both your secrets out of sight. Yeah, they signed in the dark and called it leadership. Economic development, that's the phrase. Sounds real good when the rooms are praised. Tax breaks flowing, silence bar. Power lines hum while answers rock. How many jobs? Don't ask that here. Can't discuss it, sign right here. Count second verse, same song. Public money, private ink. Tell me again, who's supposed to think? They signed it in the dark, behind City Hall. Police jury chambers, same old call. Data centers, megawatts, redacted prose. If it's such a benefit, why nobody knows? They campaigned loud, then dimmed the light. Swore secrecy somehow made it right. They signed in the dark and called it leadership. You don't get elected to operate like a corporation. You don't swear an oath to protect NDAs. City council seats on boardrooms, and the parish is in a private equity fund. When the noise shows up, when the bills climb fast, they'll say that deal was done in the past. When neighborhoods ask who approved the plan, they'll point to a pen, not a man. Minutes recorded, truth erased. Sunshine laws put in a chokehold brace. You can't redact trust and expect it to stay. You can't mute voters and still get paid. They signed it in the dark, behind City Hall. Police jury chambers, same coverall. Data centers, hush clauses, corporate code. Bossier foot in the long-term load. They ran on truth, then buried the light. Put their names on secrecy and slept just fine. Yeah, they signed